I think another big piece of our transformation, and of course we learned this from Mandela and many of my friends around the world. In fact, a very dear friend of mine who's one of the top criminal advocates, in South Africa, Lawrence Hurtis. I remember him saying one day that, one of the things about Mandela he could never quite grasp was how he came out of prison and forgave the opponents, the apartheid government.
Yes.
Putting him in prison, giving him life imprisonment. He was in prison for 27 years, and forgiving his enemy, not just forgiving them to the point of letting go of ill will, which is how I define forgiveness, but also bringing them into his government of national unity and making the former president one of his deputy presidents. And, Lawrence always said to me, I don't think I could ever do that. But I think that going through a cost process and letting go of our resentments, which drives so much of our reactionary behavior. And, in my own life, Abby, I went through my own More to Life training, and I thank my More to Life community every day. And Anne McMaster, who was my first trainer, I owe so much to her because I went on this training and I did what we call a cost process, and where we work out, the institutions, the people, and even ourselves that we hold resentments towards. What is the resentment? When did we first have it? How many years have we had this resentment? And then added up the total number of years of resentment. I had hundreds of years of resentments. I think I was the second highest in a class of a cohort of like 45. And I think for me, the big revelation, and I had done a postgraduate class in psychology to try and figure out some of my own complexities. But, when I learned that forgiveness did not condone the other person's behavior,
Yes.
when I could disentangle the fact that forgiveness does not mean condoning wrongdoing. It just means letting go of my ill will towards the other, and in some cases towards myself. And I think, what I also learned is that resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. What we don't realize at the time is that when we hold on to resentments, in 95% of the cases, often the other person or entity does not know, but mostly they don't care. So who does resentment hurt? It hurts us.
Yes.
And when we internalize resentment and act with even if it's a sophisticated mask of resentment, we're still, when we're acting out of resentment, it has physiological consequences in terms of our health. It has mental consequences, and it definitely impacts our ability to exercise leadership and meet these big challenges and moments and effect impactful, lasting change. So I think a cost process. I think the other process I learned around transformation is a mirror process. It's about letting go of the judgments we have towards ourselves